Welcome back to Real Talk Realty Podcast, where we put the real in real estate, and you are with your host, me, JD, and
Gabby Robinson.
And Louis Namick.
And we're here to talk to you a little bit about the real estate market, getting ready for this spring market coming up here, and prepping our buyers and sellers for 2025 and how to get the most information so they can make the best decisions for them and their families. And speaking of information and data, we have some pretty good quick facts. If Gabby, you want to start us off with some new data that just came out.
The average homeowner with a mortgage now has $319,000 of equity in their home, of which $207,000 is tappable.
Wow, that's amazing.
By tappable, we're talking about potentially accessing home lines of credit. That's what that means. So over the past decade, the typical homeowner has accumulated $201,600 in wealth solely from price appreciation. A typical homeowner accumulated $147,000 in housing wealth in the last 5 years. That's huge because it used to be, and it may, end up going back this way in the future, but it used to be you had to own your home for 10, 15 plus years in order to get a substantial amount of equity in there. And they're saying that on average right now, after 5 years, you got $147,000 in equity, which is obviously most due to the fact that a housing situation prior to COVID and what happened with the inventory and everything. But still, that's a huge opportunity for people that maybe bought some stepping stone homes over the last 5 years that are looking to upgrade.
Right. So people are definitely staying in their homes longer.
Yeah.
Between 1985 and 2008, the average tenure was about 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Now, between 2009 and 2024, the average tenure is 9.3 years.
Okay.
So that says a lot about the equity people are having.
Yep.
And I think that people are staying in their homes longer due to the fact that most of these people purchased when the interest rates were very low.
Yeah.
Historically low, 2
Yeah.
and 3%. Who wants to move and give up that rate?
That's a huge point. And also kind of the pricing of what it was like that many years ago, because even though the interest rates, they may not have been in like the 2% like they were a few years ago, but homes are exponentially cheaper as well. So when you have that, like for example, my sister, she lives over in Pennsylvania. She bought she has a beautiful house in Greencastle, and when her mortgage right now is like, I think it's like $1,000.
That is cheaper than people's rent.
Yeah. So, but that's her situation. They actually want to get something that's a little bit more private. They want some more land. They're looking to kind of, upgrade a little bit, but it's so tough.
Oh, yes.
They refinanced. So when the interest rates came down lower, they refinanced, got their payment even cheaper. It might even be cheaper than $1,000. If she's watching this, comment and let us know what your mortgage is, not to dive into your information. But I mean, I think it might be under $1,000. And so that's the joke. It's like, yeah, she can make a move. She's got a massive amount of equity, but you're just going to have to swallow that huge payment. You know what I mean?
That's so true.
Even with the equity, because it's if you're going to upgrade it, that's going to be substantial.
So hence, that's why people are staying in their homes longer. They got a good deal. They got a good interest rate. Their mortgage payments are low after refinancing. That's a hard thing to give up.
That is a hard thing to give up. But there is a huge opportunity, like we were just saying, for people who bought those stepping stone homes. I know personally I helped a lot of people over the last few years that initially wanted to enter the market, and they wanted to really hit it the first time, get that perfect home. And, we had that conversation like, look, you're only going to be gaining value and be able to buy more and really get what you really want once you just get in the market. It's about getting that foot in the door. We were talking about one of the communities over here with one of our favorite builders, DR Horton, over in Wren Quarter here in Frederick. And when we were selling those beautiful townhomes, those architecturally unique looking ones, they were increasing. The next, they would sell one and the next one would be $5,000 or $10,000 more, and they kept doing that. But it created a situation now where even the people that bought in those townhomes 2 years ago, they have equity.
They do.
They have equity. So now they can go and make an upgrade and buy a single family new home in the same community.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity there. So we, as real estate agents, we have access to a lot of good data that's coming from multiple sources, National Association of Realtors. We also have the MLS, which for those of you that don't know, when your real estate agent sets you up a search, a home search, we're probably using the multiple listing service, which is going to be our main source of data. It's going to give us all kinds of fun facts specific to our markets. And one of the things that I pay attention to is what's called the industry watch, which sheds a little bit of light on the growth or decline in certain areas, and the Frederick County numbers, which is where we're based out of. Downtown Frederick is our office, and they just came out with the fourth quarter numbers, which I just want to go over real briefly. We don't have to dive into it too much, but it's nice to know because I have people that, we have clients that contact us and they say, hey, what's the market like there in Frederick? This is generally what I like to just set a screenshot of just to give them an idea of what to expect, especially if they're not familiar with the area at all. And so just real quick, so this is going to be, the numbers I'm giving you are going to be from fourth quarter of this 2024 to compared to the 2023 fourth quarter, so a year over year change. And the median sales price only went up 0.6%.
Only 6%?
No, 0.6.
0.6%.
Yeah. And the average sales price, though, went up 2.7%. So, depending on whether you pay attention to the median or the average, that's up to you. But the percentage of original price received, so what somebody listed their home for versus what they actually ended up getting, is actually down 0.9%, almost 1%, which is kind of crazy because, just a few years ago during the COVID situation, it was like 102%.
Right.
People were getting exponentially more than what they were listing for. And so now that number sits at 99.3%. So if you're listing your house, let's somehow you magically have $100,000 house and you list it, on average, you're going to get $99,300.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
It just shows us that prices are not going down.
Nope.
No.
Prices are still going up.
Yep. That's right. And that's why pricing your home is so important. We talk a lot about that on this podcast. But so homes for sale, okay? This is where it gets a little dicey, right? So, and people will ask you, well, why is that, right? Why is the price going up? Why is it seem more competitive? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the homes for sale is 367, okay, which is down 6.1% from that time last year. So we have 6.1% less homes on the market than we did this time the year prior.
And buyers are increasing.
According to Realtor.com and some other sources, they're saying that 2025 is going to be the year of the first-time home buyer.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And there's many reasons for that, right? Because during COVID, the first-time home buyer couldn't compete.
Nope.
You had to either bring cash outside of the deal or, appraisal gap coverage, or you had to skip your home inspections and appraisal contingencies. And these were all things that, as realtors, I'm not going to advise you to do.
Some people found themselves having to offer 10, 15, 20%
above asking
price just to compete.
And that's something that a first-time home buyer is not going to be able to do. And that's why we're saying that this year we're not in a buyer's market, right? But we're heading into the general direction of a little bit more of a neutral market, okay? So similar to back in like 2015, if you were around doing real estate then. I wasn't, but some of my veteran colleagues were explaining that that's kind of what this is like.
Yes,
it's going to be heading into that direction. Your listings may not sell in the first, 7 days like they have been.
Right.
It may have to have a little bit more patience. But here's an interesting thing. The closed sales is 875 homes sold in the fourth quarter of last year, which is up 9.6%.
Over 2023.
Yeah. Yep. So think about that for a second. All right. Less homes on the market, right, by 6.1%, but more closed sales. So they're still, in some areas, depending on where you live, are moving pretty quickly.
Right.
But the month supply is actually down 7.7% from this time last year. So what that means is month supply is, let's say all the buyers buy up all the homes, it would take them 1.2 months without any new listings coming on the market before we would have no listings left on the market, which is pretty fascinating. Here's the big thing for our sellers, right? Average property marketing period, okay? It is 38 days. 38 days.
Compared to last year, that's a lot.
That's a lot. It's actually down 47.8%.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's insane.
That is very insane.
That just means that we're going to have to really, really talk with our sellers and set them up for success. Let them know exactly what that market's doing.
Yeah.
So they're not stressed. I mean,
Right.
they're going to be stressed.
They're going to be stressed regardless.
Yes.
But a little less stressed knowing that it's not just them and their house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so right with that being said, that's a huge reason on why the first-time home buyer has a little bit more opportunity entering 2025. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're thinking about making the leap, now would probably be the best time. Over the last couple of years, it would have been very hard for you. So I know a lot that personally did it, but it'll be a little bit easier this year. And also for those of you who have the stepping stone home that you want to sell, but that you were maybe a little hesitant or scared to potentially list your home before securing your next home over the last couple of years, because now with these homes kind of sitting a little longer, the potential to write an offer that's contingent in getting it accepted with your home being contingent on selling is far more likely now than it would have been 2 years ago.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
That is definitely something to think about.
Gabby, have you over the last couple weeks or whatever, have you written anything that's happened to be contingent on listing?
No, but I did have, actually, I was going to write an offer for a client who is contingent upon selling her house, but there were 9 other offers.
Gotcha.
So, once we realized there were 9 other offers, she kind of just said, I know that mine's is not, her house hadn't even been listed yet. So chances of her winning against 9 other offers are very, very slim, and she wasn't going over asking or anything like that. So,
what about you, Louie?
I've signed listings, but they're not contingent on purchasing.
Yeah.
Or there's no contingencies on with my clients.
Oh, lucky you.
Lucky me.
You got some good clients over
I
there.
have some good clients. I do.
And it doesn't make you a bad client, okay? It doesn't make you a bad client if you do have to be contingent, because it's very unique to your particular circumstance. And most of you are going to need the equity from one house in order to purchase the next
yes,
one.
exactly. Most people have to have a contingency.
I was going to say,
That's
because
normal real estate.
unless you just have, you hit the lottery and you got some money laying around, it's very doubtful that you're just going to go buy another house and still pay a mortgage on another one. So that's the majority of Americans that need that equity. So, but yeah, so I mean, the market is definitely picking up. I can tell personally, my phone's ringing a lot more now that we're getting off into this new year. It's kind of that's what happens. This is my 5th year in real estate now, so maybe it's my 6th year. I have to go back and do some math, but I mean that's what I've noticed. It's like between Thanksgiving and Christmas, ghost town.
Yep.
Ghost town.
Yeah.
No calls. No calls.
And I actually kind of like it a little bit.
Yeah.
I hang out.
We need some downtime.
Yeah, we need some downtime. But then right when January gets, and you get mid-January, you start getting closer to February, your phone starts ringing. Everybody who's been scrolling over the holidays are starting to take a little bit more action. Actually just had a friend of mine a few minutes ago, right before we started, send me a listing, wants me to look into it. And I didn't even know he was looking for a house.
Yeah.
We hadn't even talked about it.
In 1 week, I wrote 2 offers and they got ratified.
Awesome.
So the buyers are out there.
Yeah.
Good job, Louie. Tell us about that. So tell us about those 2 offers that you wrote and maybe what kind of led to the success in getting those ratified.
Well, both of the buyers are from my own sphere. They've been looking for a while. They've called me. They've been wanting to see certain houses. I took them out to see 3 houses. They chose one. We wrote an offer. And right now we're in the middle of doing the inspections.
Were either of those multiple offer situations?
Not one.
Oh, that is the tides changing right there.
Yeah.
See?
So there were no multiple offer situations, and I made sure with my clients, listen, there are no offers at hand right now. I think that the best thing we should do is be the first offer in.
Yeah.
So usually that is a good thing.
Had those properties been on the market for a while, or had you gotten in pretty quickly?
Actually, one of the properties that I got ratified was on the market, was under contract, and it fell through.
Okay.
Due to financing or whatever, and we swooped on it, toured it, wrote an offer immediately, and got it accepted.
So speed was the name of your game.
Speed, and also one other important thing, and that is to call the listing agent and set up a rapport. Set up a rapport, introduce yourself, speak about your clients.
Yep.
That's how I win offers.
That's awesome. That is really good. I can tell you that speed. I try to tell my clients that speed is the name of the game. About getting into if they see one coming soon, I want to be the first one in there.
Right, right. And it doesn't matter what the market's doing.
Yeah.
A house could be sitting for 94 days with no action, no showings, no offers, and all of a sudden you got a client that wants to go see it. Yeah. They want to make an offer, and lo and behold, there are 2 other offers are coming in.
That always happens. I don't understand that. It's the same. I had one earlier this year that had been on the market for like 65 days, and I was stoked. Like, to me, like, whenever my client sent it over to me, I was like, oh, this is a done deal.
This is a done deal. We can even offer below asking.
I was like, we're gonna get a hell of a deal. Next thing you know, there's 2 other offers, and we're making an offer $20K over. I'm like, what the hell just happened? But that does go to show you, even from a listing perspective, if you're a seller too, not to be completely discouraged if after 30 or so days you don't have anything. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to take a butt whooping on the price.
Well, Rob at our meeting today said that real estate is all about timing. Mm-hmm. The buyer and the seller are at the right place at the right time, and they overlap, and that is how real estate works. It's being there at the right time, having the right people in place.
That's so true, though, because the Sebastianville listing that I have, I think we listed it the end of November. 0 showings, 0 people at the open houses, nothing. And literally on Sunday, I had 2 showing requests for this week, like different agents back to back. It sat there for, I think it was like 39 days before we got any of that.
Wow.
So like out of nowhere, now we have buyers coming to see it.
Well,
so
that proves
timing.
It proves that, and it also proves JD talking about days on market.
Yeah. Yep.
The average right now is 38 days.
38 days in Frederick County. And I'm sure it's actually probably even more than that over in Washington County. I didn't pull those numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were a little bit more over there. And I'm having that conversation too with my sellers, just so that they understand. And you had 2 offers that you got ratified, Louis, but you also got 2 listings fairly recently too, correct?
Absolutely.
In your neighborhood.
In my neighborhood.
Yeah, this guy dominates his neighborhood. Everybody knows Louis in his neighborhood. I don't know how he does it. I mean, if I lived in Louis' neighborhood, I would sure as hell let him sell my house. But yeah, tell us about those listings.
Well, one of the listings in my neighborhood, she called me and said, Louis, I want to sell my house, and I think you're the guy to do it. And she said to me, well, the reason I'm choosing you over somebody I already know is that I've seen your for sale signs in the neighborhood.
Oh, yes.
And your listings do not last very long.
Isn't that awesome?
That is so awesome.
Dude, that is so cool.
That is really cool. And then the other listing is a really good friend of mine, and it was a no-brainer for him.
Yeah.
He saw what I've done in the neighborhood, and he's requested me, so I went over his house. We got the paperwork signed, so we got 2 listings, 2 ratified offers, and we're off to a great start for 2025.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
And your first big move over in your neighborhood was taking that one listing that I think was with Redfin, and they couldn't get it sold. And then that was really like when you started just kind of like doubling down over there.
That really proved to the neighborhood that I can do the job. It sat on the market for 94 days with no showings, no open houses, nothing.
Yeah.
I took it over. He fired the other agent, hired me, and we sold it in 7 days.
That's
wow.
awesome.
That's amazing.
That is awesome.
Gabby, what about you? Tell us what listings do you have? What kind of action you got right now going?
So the one in Sebastianville that's been sitting for almost 40 days now, but it's now starting to get people, make appointments for that one. And then I also have a Silver Spring listing that just went live yesterday, and actually have some showings set up for that. So
awesome.
It's a condo. Typically first-time home buyers are always trying to get those. So I think that one hopefully will go pretty quickly. But that seller is looking to buy, but she's also migrating to Frederick, Hagerstown area because she can find what she wants for the price in Silver Spring. There's no way she's gonna
There's a lot
buy.
of people coming from Silver Spring and Rockville up here. They just can't afford the price. They have been out of price at the market there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very common thing. People moving a little bit more. I guess that would be northwest, right? Northwest, kind of going up. And the further northwest you go, you start venturing into Frederick County. First, if you live in Montgomery County, you're kind of going to Frederick. If you live in Frederick, some of you are going to Washington County to really find what you want.
Frederick's a little pricey too now.
Now, yeah.
Tell me about it.
Frederick is the price of home prices in Frederick have gone up significantly.
Oh my gosh. Well, look at it though. I mean, I'm a huge Frederick fan. I love Frederick.
I absolutely love Frederick.
Downtown Frederick, Carroll Creek area. I mean, it just flourishes.
The microbreweries, the restaurants, the shops, the creek.
It's everything.
It has everything.
If you get bored in Frederick, it's a you problem. It's not a Frederick problem.
That's for sure.
Hey, so with that condo that you have over there, the one in Silver Spring, can that go FHA?
It cannot.
Okay, no worries. I was just going to bring that up, not because I had somebody that wanted to go FHA, but that's just a fun fact that I didn't really know about real estate. I was like, oh yeah, everybody can go FHA on anything. But actually, guys, there are condo associations that do not allow FHA loans to purchase the listing. And so some of them have to be conventional. Even if it is 5%, it could still be, a 5% conventional loan. But
they also have like 3.5 conventional loans. So you could still potentially get less down with a conventional too.
Right.
Condos are a little tricky.
Yeah.
I think that some condos don't qualify for certain programs, and I found out that the reason why is because if you have so many of the residents not paying their HOA
delinquency rate
on their condo fees, that condo does not qualify for certain programs or financing. So that's a tricky thing.
Yeah. That is, and it's also kind of it's always subject to how well the listing agent puts the information into the MLS too. Like I've had some that are they call them a townhouse, but it's actually part of a condo. You ever seen those in Frederick?
Yes.
Where you look at it, it looks like a freaking townhouse, and you're like, wait, this is a condo?
Yeah.
You're like, what the hell?
Actually, in my neighborhood, I live in a Vanderbilt townhome.
Beautiful home, by the way.
And Warmall, towards the end, the last phase of those particular townhomes, they're considered
condos.
What?
Yes.
Now, are those are they like the ones where there's like a door? Like, is it two stories? Like one you go down and then one you go up?
No.
They're just straight up
regular townhouse. The only difference is that the fire suppression system is all together, whereas where I live in my townhome, it's separate. You all have your own separate thing.
Gotcha.
And I think that land was tagged as, condos.
Right.
And Warmall did not want to spend the money to
go through the process of changing it.
Exactly. So those people are paying HOA fees,
condo fees,
and condo fees.
Oh yeah,
they're separate.
That's so stupid. I can't stand that. I mean, I've seen those too where it's like, okay, you got an HOA fee and a condo fee, and it ends up being like $500 or $600. You're like, what the heck?
Yep, exactly.
Jeez.
Talking about the prices just continuing to go up. I was reading this, and it think about it, it's like, dang. So it says total household net worth has increased by approximately $44 trillion or $332,000 per household since the pandemic. Of that, boomer overall wealth increased by $19 trillion or $486,000 per household, half of which is due to house price appreciation.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
That is insane.
That's insane.
That is insane. And speaking of boomers, actually, they were saying here that 66% of the boomers are indicating that they plan on downsizing, right? So very soon, with nearly 9 out of 10 respondents currently owning a residence with 3 or more bedrooms. Now, that could be a sticky situation if you got a 66% of a generation all targeting the same type of house in a market where the inventory is already low. So
that could be a problem.
That could be a potential issue, at least for like those smaller homes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see how that.
And speaking about the equity that people have in their homes now, that's a major, major thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people at the beginning of last year thought that we were going to go into a market where it's going to dump like 2008. Mm-hmm. That's not happening. Too many people have positive equity in their homes, and the foreclosures are down compared to 2008.
Right.
So that's not going to happen.
No. No. And we've all had those clients, right? Oh, I'm going to just wait till the market crashes. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, buddy boy. And then they call you back in a year or two and they're like, hey, I'm ready. Yeah. Let's get back to it. Exactly. Well, hey, we thank you guys for joining us today. And we're looking forward to getting back with you as soon as this one gets back from her 2-month-long vacation in Dubai. Just kidding. It's only 2 weeks.
Telling people my business.
Oh, come on. That's badass. If I was going to Dubai, I'd make sure the whole world knew. I would call my grandma. I'd call my cousins.
Oh, my God.
I call you, JD.
Yeah, I'd call you, too. Hey, Louie, I'm going to Dubai. You want to come?
Hell yeah.
So, but we wish her safe travels and a really fun trip.
We look forward to a fantastic 2025.
Yes.
If you guys are thinking about selling or thinking about purchasing a home, don't forget to contact the Rob Crop team.
Yes.
You can't go wrong with any one of us. We're all doing it. We're all killing it. And we're all going to take care of you and make sure that you're protected and have your backs.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll look forward to chatting with you in a couple weeks. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Peace.